Thanks for having me here today. I've been practicing since 2004. I've hypnotized over 30,000 people. I have 19 years in the business. It's a great job, you know, but I'm here for you today, honestly, and I want to just do 3 simple things with you today. I want to help you understand hypnosis better because there's a lot of myths and misperceptions about it. I want to help you understand how you can use hypnosis to help your life be better, all right? And particularly through the connection of this class and what you're studying in this class, stress management, wellness. And I want to do some live demo with you so that you can understand it better. And ultimately, more important than that, I want to teach you a simple self-hypnosis method so that when you leave here today, you'll be able to go out and start doing it right away if you want. I'll teach you a very simple process that it's very fast. It'll take about 15 minutes at most, 10 minutes probably to teach it to you, but that's because I have to explain it. When you leave here, you'll be able to do it in like 2 minutes. And if you practice for just like 2 minutes a day, you'll be surprised how it plays out for you. So a lot of people misunderstand hypnotism because of how it's presented in popular culture. So I always start by talking about that. Anytime you watch movies and TV shows, hypnotism is always represented in dramatic ways. I mean, if you're a TV writer or a movie writer, that's your job, right? Is to tell the most dramatic story you can. And so what happens is a lot of liberties get taken with the way that hypnotism is presented in movies and TV shows. And that means just a lot of false stuff gets put out there. Most recently, Ben Affleck, a few months ago, had a movie come out, right? And it was like awful. The movie was awful, and on top of that, the way it presented hypnotism was just not accurate. So I always try to start with that some, because I think what happens is, in a culture where we're so entertainment focused and we're used to consuming a lot, you kind of can't help but be influenced by that, right? And that makes you feel like, well, if I was going to go see a hypnotist, or even if you're going to be in a show, if you go to a show to have fun, right? You think, well, I'll watch it, but I'm not doing it. And it's mostly because of the way you've seen it get portrayed. It's fun, it's cool, it's good. It's particularly helpful for your personal life. And we can talk, I'll take questions about that. There's so many applications. More importantly, there's so much research at this point that shows it's a helpful modality for stress management, sleep improvement, pain management, habit adjustment. There's lots and lots. If you go to PubMed, which is the database for the National Institute of Health, you start searching, you will find all kinds of research. Now again, some research is better than others. We know that, right? Methodologies vary. But still, at least the research is there, and if you want to become more informed, you can do that. Google Scholar's your other avenue for that, right? You can go to Google Scholar, and you can pull up decades and decades of research. They've been looking at it for a long, long time now. But again, no one usually talks about that because it's not particularly sexy, right? It's cooler to be like hooly hooly on movie or TV show. I never do that. I don't know why I just did. Let's move on. When you're getting hypnotized, what you're really doing is you are creating a mild dissociative event for yourself. This is one of the big things right off is people think that the hypnotist is wielding some kind of almost supernatural power. They're not. They're facilitating a process. They know what it takes to get you into hypnosis. There's not just one way to do it. There's many, many different ways. A trained hypnotist knows those, tries to make them available to you so that you can ease into that state. All right? Dissociation occurs on a spectrum. On the very, very light end, daydreaming. Right? Some of you are going to daydream during this presentation. As much as I want to think that I'm a riveting presenter, some of you are going to start daydreaming. It happens all the time. It's the way your brain is built. Sometimes when you're daydreaming, you'll get so into the daydream that even though your eyes are open, you don't see the room you're in anymore. You see the daydream that you're having. You ever had that happen? That's called reverie, a very intense daydreaming state, right? This is your brain built this network for attention modulation to relieve itself, right? It has these structures and these activities that it does naturally. Hypnotists help you turn this on. That's all it is. So when you're doing this, there's a few different ways you can do it. One common one is the modulation of breathing. Anytime you purposely modulate your breathing, you're triggering your vagal response from the cranial, 10th cranial point? I don't know, I gotta brush up. But the vagus nerve runs from lower brainstem all the way down throughout. It branches out. It's the longest single nerve pathway in your body, right? Connects all the visceral organs, big information superhighway. And so what you can do is you can trigger that purposefully through breathing. The brain instinctively knows when we're in fight or flight mode. All of our breathing is, you've talked about this on what short, tight, right? And so you tell it, no, we're cool, by going the other way. So that's one thing that hypnotists ask people to do a lot, is they'll, and I'll do it today. I'll say, take a nice big deep breath in, breathe out and relax, right? Like, and we'll do that 3 times. But that what you're doing is you're drawing out that breath. The brain instinctively knows we don't breathe that way when we're in trouble, we must be okay. And so we start to shift state. Another one that's really popular is visual fixation. The daydreaming thing. You get bored, you're kind of like done with it, and you start to just stare. That's always the gateway, right? So you start to stare, next thing you know, you're in like la la land, you're having a whole daydream. Well, we can do that on purpose. And this is where the old stereotype of the pocket watch comes from. Back in the 1800s, it was particularly popular because a lot of men, particularly most of the hypnotists back then were men, they would carry a pocket watch. It's shiny, right? Catches the eye. But they wouldn't swing it, actually. That's a misconception. They would just dangle it, and it would hang, and they would ask their client to stare at the pocket watch. Another popular thing to do was men more often back then wore rings with a jewel on them. And so they would hold the ring up and they'd just have them stare at the ring, look at the way the light catches in it, how it sparkles, how it gleams. They're trying to get the client to visually fixate on the ring or the pocket watch, right? Well, today we can do that a million different ways, right? We've got, if you go on YouTube, there's all kinds of like trippy videos and kaleidoscope videos and all these things that you can stare at and get fixated on. You can just stare at a blank spot on the wall. The key is, as long as you're staring, you're setting up the brain to start bridging to that state. It's really simple, really easy. Great thing about that is, think about this. You can change your breathing anywhere. You can stare anywhere. So this is why I really advocate for people to learn self-hypnosis, is that it's wonderfully portable. You can do it on a bus stop. You can do it, you know, in a lounge of your residence hall. You can do it just about anywhere, and most people aren't going to know what you're doing. It's going to look like you're just taking a quiet moment for yourself, and people will be like, oh, whatever. So there's another, like, you first think about, oh, so I'm going to start doing hypnosis, so what, I'm going to look like a weirdo. No, you're not, because it's all happening internally, and everyone else is just going to think you're just sitting there having a quiet moment for yourself. So that's pretty nice. Again, you start thinking about when you identify where it might help you. If you got anxiety around flying, right? You just sit on the plane, you're not talking to anybody, everyone's minding their own business, you do your routine, bring the anxiety down, right? Anywhere, there's all kinds of different settings like that, but I hope that one is concrete enough for you. So, visual fixation, purposeful modulation of breathing. There's other ones that that I wouldn't recommend you do, but hypnotists do, so I'll explain them. The other one is confusion. If you confuse people, there's something about the way the brain works that when we get confused, it's a kind of overload, eats up a lot of cognitive bandwidth, and then the brain naturally wants relief from that. So then if you provide the relief through a direction, people will often, not always, but often go, okay, and they'll start to follow that new direction. So you can do that by just kind of moderately confusing people. Like, I might talk to you and use strange language patterns, like, when would now be a good time to choose to learn self-hypnosis? We don't talk that way. Some people will be like, what? And then you keep going from there. The other thing you can do is, there was a hypnotist back in the 1800s who used to have a high back chair. You know, the ones with the wings on them where they're like kind of closed in. He would have his clients sit in a high back chair. He'd tell him he needed to step out of the room for a minute, and he would pretend he'd go and open the door, but he wouldn't really leave the room, and then he'd close the door so they heard it and thought he left. And then he would sneak up behind them in the chair, because the high back chair they couldn't see, and I'm not kidding, this is a real story. He had cymbals, you know, and he would come up and crash the cymbals together and then go, sleep, 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 and they'd just freak out and they'd boom, right? Like, let's not do that today, right? Like, but it's the overwhelm. It's the moment of overwhelm. Again, this is the fight or flight system being hijacked, right? It's not a magic ability. This is about how nervous systems work, from simpler animals all the way up through us. And because our brains are more complex, we're able to use language to trigger that state as well. So that's where one of the more popular things that a lot of hypnotists do is they'll use what's called a progressive relaxation. And in a progressive relaxation, the hypnotist basically just talks to you for 15, 20, 25 minutes, and they bore you into hypnosis. Some of you might feel it happening right now. But what they're doing is they're just trying to get you to relax, and as they're talking to you in language that's all based around relaxation, they're doing it in a very monotone way. And as they keep talking to you, you finally just can't take it anymore. And we get back to the boredom and the daydream thing going again, and then off you go. But what they've done is they've attached your transition to that state to the action of their voice. So now as they keep talking to you, they're leading you from there through your hypnotic experience. Does that make sense? All right, again, better ways to do it. Why take 25 minutes to do something that you can do in 60 seconds? And that's what I'm going to teach you today. Literally 60 seconds, hypnotized. And you can do it to yourself. I'll show it to you like I'm doing it to you today, but then it's all to model it for you so that then you could go home and do it for yourself. This brings up some other common questions that people have about what it's like to be hypnotized. One is, well, okay, Paul, so if I go home and I'm in my room and I practice self-hypnosis, how do I get myself out? You just decide that you're done. Again, don't buy into it all has to be controlled by an outside person. Your hypnosis is a conscious state. You're awake the whole time. You're thinking the whole time. So you decide, I'm going to practice my self-hypnosis now. I practice my self-hypnosis. I decide I'm done with my self-hypnosis now. You can either have a more symbolic way of like, count from 1 up to 5 in your head. You think, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I get to 5, I'm all done. I open my eyes. I feel great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can do that, or you can literally just say, I'm going to be all done with hypnosis now. I'm going to open my eyes. And you open your eyes and you're done. It's that simple because you're always in control of it. You're guiding it. It's not, now this may make some of you think, oh, so it's like meditation. Well, it's like meditation, but it's not meditation. The brain waves shift, you get more alpha waves, more theta waves, like in meditation, but not in a way where if we were to hook you all up and check you all at the same time doing the same process, you wouldn't all have the same brain waves. It's not consistent like that. Some people are naturally gonna be more into alpha, some people are gonna be more into theta, right? Some people might even occasionally get a gamma spike, but that's rare. Right? So, but we know, again, this is what we do know, is we've done enough research now that we know, yes, brainwave is changing when you're doing hypnosis. So there's a real thing going on. It's not just placebo, right? There's real stuff going on. Sometimes when we use hypnosis, we do get a placebo effect, but not always. Sometimes we get a very real effect. I've used hypnosis to help people release fears, fear of flying, fear of squirrels, fear of the fish section at Hannaford's, I'm not kidding. I've helped people use it. I used it for a woman's brain surgery. I've used it for the usual stuff you hear about, smoking cessation, weight reduction, golf. I helped 2 different AAU baseball players who hit their first home runs of their whole baseball career within a week of doing hypnosis. That was pretty fun, that was pretty cool. There's lots and lots of good applications for it. All right, so, but again, what you're really looking to do is practice it, get used to it, myelinate the pathways in your brain so that your circuit for hypnosis gets better and better. And the only way that's gonna happen is by practicing, right? All the myelination occurs through repetition. Better repetition is better than poor repetition, but at least repetition on some level. And then as you're doing that and you get more comfortable with it, then you can start to expand your understanding of what you might be able to do with it. So I would say start first with just, can you reduce your stress? Can you sleep better? You could just start with those 2 things. It's a pretty good place to start, right? Because you're pretty much stressed almost all the time. And as a particular demographic, I love you dearly, but I used to be a hall director and I know you're all really shitty sleepers. So, except for like the occasional outlier. There might be one of you that's like, no, I'm not, but most of you are. So, you know what impact that's making on your health, right? So it'd be a really sensible place to start. So, we good so far? Any questions about anything that I said that you need clarification on? No? Okay. I'm getting sweaty, so I'm gonna take my coat off. Forgive me for being less professional. Okay. Need one volunteer, please. Yes, sir, I saw your hand. Come on down. Of course, I picked the person in the farthest back of the room. That's all right, we're not on. Come on down, yeah, come right on down here. What's your name?
name's Adam.
Adam? All right, Adam. You ever done hypnosis before?
Self-hypnosis.
You've done self-hypnosis. Excellent.
Yeah.
What's the coolest thing you've ever experienced doing self-hypnosis?
Feeling my body float.
Nice. All right. Adam's giving me a great segue here. So, how do you know when the hypnosis is working? It's not the same for everybody. There are some physical sensations that are common to most folks. One of them would be a sense of lightness and floating. That's common. Another one would be actually the whole opposite. Some people get so profoundly relaxed, they feel like they're sinking right down through the couch or through the bed, right? So it could be, again, you just trust that either way, there's no right or wrong, either one is fine. Just noticing it is the thing. Do you feel the lightness and you're like, holy cow, I feel like I'm gonna float right up. Or I might feel like I'm gonna go right down through the floor. Either one is good. Noticing it is the important thing so that you have more confidence in what you're doing. All right, cool. So, I want you to put your feet shoulder width apart. I want you to turn, just so you're not so much looking at them, turn this way. Good, good. Excellent. Nice and balanced all the time, all right? Obviously, Adam volunteered, so he's cool being hypnotized. I think it's important to always make sure people are cool with this. So just to double check, you're okay with the idea of being hypnotized?
You have my consent.
Thank you, I have your consent. Excellent, outstanding. So, all I want you to do, now we're gonna do what I said earlier, right? We're gonna do just simple, basic visual fixation. I'm gonna say just stare at any point of my hand, Adam. Could be a particular finger, particular wrinkle, could be the palm of my hand. Pick a spot, focus on the spot you've chosen, and hold your gaze on that spot. Now, as my hand comes closer and closer to your face, you're gonna let the feeling of hypnosis that you know and are familiar with for yourself come into your person. That's right, breathe it out. There you go, nice job. All right, now as it gets in there and it gets closer and closer, let the eyes get heavier and heavier. Do not let the eyes close, however, until my fingertip touches your forehead. Take another one of those big deep breaths in. Breathe out. Activate the hypnosis that you know how to do. Let the eyes get heavier and heavier. One more big breath in. Breathe out and sleep and let your eyes close. Let your eyes close right down. Go right back to that energetic state that you know how to produce. As you breathe out, every time you breathe out like that, you're going to let another beautiful wave of relaxation go from the top of your head right down to the bottom of your feet. That's right. Settling in, knowing that you're always aware of yourself, you're always in control of your body, and you stay balanced at all times. I keep this hand here just to help you and keep you anchored to what we're doing, but you are in total control of yourself, and you always take good care of yourself. That's right. Now, allowing yourself to drift just a little bit deeper into relaxation, trusting that you know how to do this because you have prior experience. Allow yourself to keep going deeper and feeling better. The deeper you go, the better you feel. Now, if I can show you something new, knowing that you have prior experience with hypnosis, I think it might be fun to do this. What if you allowed yourself to picture a white erase board in your mind? And on that white erase board, in your own handwriting, write your name. When I snap my fingers outside your ear, in your mind, watch your own hand come up and wipe the name right off the white erase board. Make it disappear completely so that it's just white space and speckled dust. And for 30 seconds, we'll let the name disappear completely from your mind. A new level of hypnotic ability unlocking for you in demonstrating this to yourself. And make sure you feel comfortable with doing that and exploring that. Nod your head to me if that's okay. That's right. Now, take another nice big deep breath in. As you breathe out, wipe the name off the board, make it disappear completely only for 30 seconds, in which it will return after those 30 seconds. As your eyes open, do you have a middle name, yes or no? Yes. And say your middle name out loud. Victor. And then what your first name is, there. See, okay, so now this is another important display point. Good, nice and balanced right there. People often think that hypnosis is a form of mind control. I always like to do this exercise with people because I win either way. If he forgets the name, I'm like, see, we just got him to do a cool hypnotic phenomenon. If he doesn't forget the name, I'm demonstrating to all of you, I don't control minds. I have no ability to control people, right? It's selectivity always exists in hypnotism. So anything, if you ever volunteer, you know, they bring hypnotists up to the MUB, right? And if you're at one of those shows and you're thinking about volunteering, you can understand now that maybe something no one ever told you before, which is you can literally go up on stage, you can do the hypnosis, you can get hypnotized, and still choose to reject any suggestion that hypnotist gives you over the course of the show. You have that ability. A lot of people don't think that because, again, the way it's portrayed in movies and TV shows. Now, the other factor is I jumped really fast to a hypnotic phenomenon, seeing I wanted to test for myself, could we get Adam there faster than most folks Most people, what I would do is what's called fractionation. Fractionation, I'll show you right now, super simple. Again, you can do this with yourself when you practice self-hypnosis. Adam, reset the feet. Nice big deep breath in. Breathe out and close your eyes and just go right back to that state that you were in before, perhaps a little bit deeper even than you were before. Every time we close the eyes and we're re-entering state, we're fractionating. LeBeau and Bernheim at the Nancy School in the 1800s discovered that when they were bringing their clients back week after week, the clients would do a little better with the hypnosis than they did the week before. Finally, one of them said, why are we waiting a whole week? Why don't we just hypnotize, unhypnotize, hypnotize, unhypnotize in the same session and get the same effect? So that's what we're talking about with fractionation. So every time I have Adam open his eyes, 1, 2, 3, open, right? He's coming back to a little bit more of, he's conscious the whole time, but he's coming more to a contextual awareness of what we're doing here. And then every time that we have him close his eyes again, breathe in, breathe out, and there he goes, and out, right? He's going more internally, he's a little more focused probably on himself. He still hears the sound of my voice. Again, he's conscious. Now, those of you who are sitting down in the lower rows might notice that when Adam closes his eyes, they're really quite twitchy, almost to the way that eyes are when you're in REM sleep. So he's got quite a bit of theta activity happening in the brain, and that's, again, another sign that he's doing quite well with hypnosis. All right, now that's, again, more theta wave, you get this eye movement, twitching of the eyes. Again, it's probably because he's practicing more through his self-hypnosis. Some people naturally do it right away. There's somnambulists. They're just naturally awesome at hypnosis, and they go there right away. Not one is right or wrong, just different, trying to make you aware of it. Sometimes when you're practicing, you'll feel your eyes twitching. Sometimes you won't notice it at all, but it is happening. All right? Good. 1, 2, 3, wait. Good. You feel good?
Yeah.
Good. You feel all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, just checking. So another thing I look for when I'm working with people up close is people get a change in their circulation. When their circulation changes, what'll happen is the whites of the eyes will turn pink. They don't get bloodshot. It's a really even diffusion of blood through the whites of the eyes. So when I'm working and I want to try to judge how people are doing quickly, again, not everyone gets the same stuff, but I've got like 5 things in my mind I'm looking for so that I can assess quickly, especially when I'm doing shows. So that's why I just checked Adam real quick. He doesn't have that today. He also doesn't have, the other thing they'll get is their pupils will blow up really, really big. Eyes are really good if you're a hypnotist for checking things quickly, because you notice I already said, could be the whites of the eyes, could be the pupils, could be the eyes fluttering when they're closed. Gives me 3 things to check for really, really fast with people, helps me understand where I'm at. So he's got 1 out of the 3 and I'm happy. If he's got nothing, I'm concerned. Then I'm starting to get nervous. The other thing that we'll see is that same diffusion of blood up into the capillary level that makes the eyes turn white will make the face turn really, get red in the cheeks, blotchy. If you've got short sleeves on, you'll see it in the arms sometimes. If you've got women wearing more of a low-cut shirt, you'll see it on the chest too. They get real red, rosy red blotches. And so that's another, I can look for it quick and be like, okay, the circulation has changed. All right, you're good, man. Have back to your seat. Thank you. Give me a round of applause.
Thank you.
Good, good. Can I have someone who's never ever done hypnosis before? Yeah, please. What's your name?
Marissa.
Marissa, nice to meet you. I'm Paul. You having a good day?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anyone get hypnotized before?
I've seen like one YouTube video.
All right. So, but you're cool with the idea of experiencing hypnosis.
Yes.
That would be nice. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Again, I don't want you so much feeling like they're all staring at me. So I'm just gonna turn you this way, each shoulder width apart. Good. Now remember, like I said before, you're awake the whole time. You'll always be aware of yourself. You're gonna stay balanced, right? I may put my hand on your shoulder occasionally. Is that okay? And I might even, just to show you, I might occasionally kind of go like this as I'm talking to you, because I want you to see you're doing it already, right? You correct? I'll kind of do that as like a reminder once in a while. You're always gonna be up and in control of yourself. Excellent, okay. So, let's do this. If you take your 2 hands and you hold them out like this, okay? And you fixate not so much on the hands as the space between your hands, right here. I'll take this finger away, you just keep it on that space. As you stare at that space, go ahead, Stay focused right on that space and imagine that there's magnetic energy being focused between your hands. You do have magnetic energy in your body. Your nervous system runs on electricity, right? Your heart throws off an electromagnetic field, so does your brain. Imagine that you're taking it and focusing it into that space. It's coming right out of the palms and it's getting into that space between the hands and it's getting more and more focused, more and more magnetically charged. As you focus that energy, imagine that that feeling of magnetism makes them want to go toward each other. Just like when you've had magnets in a science class or took them off the fridge at home, and when you really feel it, they can start to go toward each other, let them. As they go closer and closer toward each other, and the magnetic field gets more and more focused, they're going to get even more powerfully attracted toward each other. Take a nice big deep breath in. Breathe out and direct even more energy. Imagine you're drawing it from every cell of your body. That's right, there you go. And you just keep letting it get more and more focused. It's magnetic focus, it's brain focus, it's all your focus. You're totally in charge of this. I'm just giving you the idea and helping you experience it. Another nice big deep breath in. Breathe out and let it double again. It gets twice as magnetized. It just keeps getting better and better. Now eventually those hands are going to touch. When they touch, your eyes will close. You'll stay totally balanced and aware of yourself. One more nice big deep breath in. Breathe out. There you go. Let the eyes close. The hands can relax and drift down to your side. That's right. That's very good. Now, like I said before, notice even as I do this, you stay balanced and aware of yourself. You're always in control of your body. Find the first color that feels peaceful, calm, and reassuring to you, and fill your mind with that color. Let it go up to the top of your head, down to the bottom of your feet, outward to the extremities, every muscle, every nerve, every cell of your body full of this beautiful, vibrant color. It's a gift you give yourself. You can do this anytime when you practice self-hypnosis. You just take the color that you feel good about and you make it a symbol, right? It's a representation of good energy. And you let that move where it needs to move. So if lately you've been feeling more stressed and you're tight in your chest, you send the color to your chest. If you're really, really worried about something and you feel it more in your belly, that's another area where negative energy lives, you send the color to your belly. Sometimes when we have been struggling to communicate well and just say our needs, we actually get tight in the throat when we're really stressed too. Those are the big three. You might send it to your throat. You can send it wherever you need to, really. It's a gift you give yourself. It's something good you do for yourself. And you have that at your availability anytime you need it. Now let it get bigger, brighter, more vibrant. Let it have sparkles, let it have shimmers, swirls, whatever you feel like makes it better. Bigger, better, more vibrant, more positive. Notice how nice it feels to give yourself that gift. Now let's turn it up one more level and let's make that beautiful color so nice it starts to come out of you like you're a living light bulb. You start to glow with this color. Imagine that you're just letting it get, it happens naturally, just like the sun makes energy. You make energy, you're the power plant, not the transmission wires. You make the energy, and now you're letting it bigger, more focused, more beautiful, and it's like a vibration. And it goes out of you and it starts to spread, and it goes out and it touches all the people in this room. It's your gift for them now. You gave your gift to you, give your gift to them. Positivity, reassurance, confidence, kindness, compassion. Let it just go right throughout the room, like you're a big, beautiful living light bulb. Goes upward, downward, outward. Goes all the way up to the back rows, touches these beautiful people, makes them feel great. It's good to share with people. It's good to help people, isn't it? That's right. And when I count from 1 to 3, you'll open your eyes. You'll remember everything I talked to you about, everything you were thinking about, and everything you experienced. 1, 2, 3, open. You feel good? Now your pupils are big, all right? That's how we get, it's again, you never know. It's different for different people, all right? Mm-hmm. Did you think that that's how it would be?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're you. You're just, how would you describe it?
A little buzzy.
In the hands?
Yeah.
A lot of first timers get tingly buzzy in the hands. I don't know why. I've never found anyone who has a good explanation for it, but that's actually really common. The more you practice it and do it, that'll go away. It could even go away today while we're just practicing, but definitely after today, it'll probably just go away. That's cool. What else do you notice?
I noticed I'm a lot more calm, like when I first came up there,
Yeah.
I was shaking.
Well, you're coming up to the front of the room and everyone's gonna be watching you and you're gonna work with this stranger, right? Mm-hmm. But already very quickly in 2 minutes, all that's pretty much just gone, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel very warm.
Yeah, yeah, all right? It's easy to be like, yeah, because the hypnotist is doing it. You can do this, I'm telling you, you can do this. All the energy you accumulate in the day, you can practice and learn to just let go of and put better energy there instead. And think about how many different kinds of energy you might want to cultivate in any given day. Maybe it's test day and you want to feel more focused and confident. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's like, maybe you got a date and you want to feel like not nervous about going on a date. You want to be comfortable and authentic with the person. You know, there's so many ways that our energy shifts in our daily lives. And it's just about being intentional about how we want to direct that energy, right? When I said earlier about the 3 spots, when you get really stressed, what do you notice? Where does your stress most often live?
In my stomach.
In your stomach, right? So just stand up, yeah, a little reset again there. Big breath in. Breathe out and let your eyes close. Now, I don't want you to experience like stress and feel bad and stuff because we already made the good stuff, but just trusting in your instinct. If you even just think of the memory of the last time that you got stressed and it was in the belly, and you gave that feeling a color, what color would that stress energy be?
Orange.
Orange, right? And the good color that you gave yourself was?
Pink.
Pink, right? So now we have it. We have bad, yucky orange energy, and we have beautiful, wonderful pink energy. Eyes open. You're doing so good. Now, if you want to get like woo-woo, which I do occasionally, I don't mind it, I will tell you something interesting. If you look into, again, if you want to get geeky tonight, go back to your room, start looking up chakras online. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a chakra right there. And what color is it?
I think it's orange.
It is orange.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right? So the most commonly known chakras start at the base of your spine, the root chakras, and they follow the rainbow, right? It's red, orange in the sacral area, and then move up to solar plexus and it's yellow, and then move up to heart and it's green, move up to throat and it's blue, move up to third eye and it's magenta, and then come up to the top of the crown and it's pure white, because the idea is when they align, you get all colors, and your connection to the divine is going to be all colors. I am fascinated by that. Not so much, I don't practice a religion. I really like science, and I like the idea of like, what if we're all really just, you know, we're just expressions of energy, and what if a long time ago people started figuring out that energies have frequencies, which would be colors, right? And if you start looking into it, you'll see that all of those chakras have a corresponding like intersection of the nervous system, and I think all 7 of them also have a gland located near them. And I'm like, isn't that fascinating that these old folks many years ago, before we started pulling bodies apart and learning about that stuff, they figured out this? It's pretty neat. I don't know. So if we were to, again, if you don't believe in any of that, here's how it is still useful. The brain loves symbols. So if you don't literally believe that you have chakras in your body, that's fine. I'm not going to waste time trying to convert you, but I'd say, but your brain loves symbols. And so what if you use the symbol of a chakra to get you someplace better, right? And so you said, all right, if I was to imagine this metaphorical representation of energy in this place where I know I feel icky sometimes, and I want to do something about it, what you would traditionally do is you'd think, when my energy's off, the orange is a dirty, yucky version of orange, right? And so as I think about shifting that and cleaning it up, right, I can do a self-hypnosis routine in which I think the pink energy comes in, it goes down, it cleanses that part of me, I release all negative energy, and the orange gets more and more like a beautiful tangerine orange, right? Like a really nice orange. If you give yourself that structural representation, now you have a path for how to do something good for yourself. You understand? It's not rocket science, it's just leveraging some simple stuff about how you know your brain works, right? It's good, it's good. And so you can do that, again, you can learn about any of these. So some of you right now, I hope you're already bridging this to, well, when I get stressed, it's in the chest. And you go, all right, so that's your green chakra, that's your heart chakra. So you do the same thing, you just let it go from like dirty, nasty green to gorgeous, vibrant emerald green. What does it take for you to do that? Start asking yourself smart questions. Do you need to forgive yourself for something? Do you need to forgive somebody else for something? Do you need to let go of something that you've been holding anger or resentment about? right? Start asking yourself questions, listen to the inner voice, and then follow the symbol system, right? And think, how do I do that? How do I let that happen for myself and work the system? Yeah? You're the best. Give a round of applause, please. Thank you so much. Switch it?
Well, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah?
Is it
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, the little green light is
Do
on.
it. Switch it. Questions? Come on. You have no questions. I'm such an amazing presenter that everything makes sense to you and you have no questions.
What if we were, like, how do we ever teach someone else?
If you were going to teach someone else to do this, you would try to keep it as simple as I'm keeping for you right now, because the more you complicate it, the more likely it's not going to work or happen. And then the other thing is if you're going to teach it to someone, you need to make sure you're not getting too involved, right? Because you can't hurt anyone, but what you can do, if you've got someone that you know, oh my, it's so weird. If you've got, oh fine, I see how it is. You're fine, you're fine. If you've got someone that is struggling and you really want to help them, that's beautiful. But you have to understand that the struggle, if it's intense and you kind of go through the process wrong, you can actually intensify the bad stuff and then they're like freaking out, right? So I did a fundraiser show at Exeter High School. Anyone from Exeter? No? Did you ever hear about this? Did you hear about maybe like 5 years ago, the big story? Yeah. I did a fundraiser show at Exeter High School. We had a blast and everyone loved it. And then they loved it so much that the next day, some young ladies decided that they would start trying to hypnotize each other in the lunchroom. And so 2 young women who had been at the show asked a woman who hadn't been at the show if they could try to hypnotize her. She's like, yeah, whatever. And they tried it, and what the faculty told me afterward was that the first time it didn't work, and then I think a second time it didn't work, and yet she let them try a third time, and the third time it worked. And she went deep into hypnosis the third time and got so relaxed that she ended up on the floor, and she was in what we call catalepsy, which is a tonic immobility. So she felt as if she couldn't move her body. The reality is she could have moved her body anytime she wanted to. What she had done was create a level of relaxation that was so wonderful, her native instinct was to not disturb it by moving her body. But because no one had given her any kind of presentation about how hypnosis works, she didn't know, right? So she's laying there thinking, I can't move. They're laughing and thinking it's a hoot. And then they're like, okay, let's be done. She's attached to how good it feels. She doesn't come out of hypnosis. Now they're not quite laughing so much, and more people are gathering around. And now, again, hypnosis is conscious. She hears, and she's in hypnosis, which is a more highly suggestible state, and she hears people starting to make negative comments. Oh my God, what did you do to her? What's wrong with her? Stuff that I don't blame those people for naturally thinking, but not helpful in this situation. So it just snowballs. Nobody knows what to do. And for some reason, nobody thought to call the hypnotist. I heard about this a whole day later. They call the ambulance. The ambulance comes. They respond to her, knowing nothing about hypnosis. You ever heard that phrase, like, if all you have is a hammer, everything's gonna look like a nail? This is one of those situations. So they start treating it like it's a medical issue. It's not a medical issue. She just needs a hypnotist to help her understand how to get out of hypnosis, because she doesn't know that she could get out simply by saying, I'm all done now, right? She's, again, movies and TV shows. And so they start, now this is all increasing the drama, increasing the drama, increasing the drama. They take her to Exeter Hospital. Now the doctors are like, clearly this young woman is having some kind of an episode. And so they spend a couple hours working on her, and they run tests, and they find out, because again, the more the drama increases, the more it's keeping her in state, right? It's just perpetuating the state. The more she hears everyone talking about it and everything. And so then it gets to the point where the doctors are like, the only thing we can think about is maybe she's had like a spinal stroke. And so they're ready to take her to Boston, to Mass General, and get her tested there. At which finally, I guess when she heard she was gonna go to Boston, she had a natural instinct of like, I don't wanna go to Boston, and she snapped out of it. And then there was all the drama and all this stuff, right? And so then the next day, the teacher contacts me and is like, hey, so this happened yesterday, and why do you think that is? And I was like, because people who didn't know anything about hypnosis started trying to hypnotize people? That's the short answer, right? Like, so you work within what you know. You don't start doing stuff that you don't know anything about. Self-hypnosis, so simple. If you just are like, I'm doing it for me, Paul's taught me, I'm totally like, I can put myself in, I can give myself helpful suggestions, and I can take myself out. You can do that completely safely. Furthermore, ultimately, from the hypnosis itself, nothing could have ever happened to that woman. It's a mild dissociation. It'd be like saying, could you die from a daydream, right? Like, nothing could have harmed her. What was happening was everybody else's fear was being transmitted and transferred to her, right? So if you want to teach the self-hypnosis routine that I teach you, that's fine. Don't go beyond that and be like, let me hypnotize you. Don't do that, all right? Okay. All right, let's do the self-hypnosis routine. If you don't want to do this, you certainly do not have to. You can just sit calmly and quietly. If you want to do it, again, let's refresh one more time. You are the one really doing it. I'm just teaching it to you. You can stop anytime you want to simply by saying, I'm all done, all right? You cannot be harmed by hypnosis in any way. It's just a naturally, the clinical definition that we use of hypnosis is a state of increased focus and narrowed attention, and the subject then has heightened suggestibility. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna focus you down, then we're gonna let that focus be the state you're in when you give yourself a helpful thought or idea that'll make your life better. That's it, all right? We're gonna do, it's three simple steps, all right? This is called the Dave Ellman induction. If you need to look it up later and refresh, you can just search Dave Ellman induction. The first step is eye closure. We're just gonna ask you to close your eyes. Then the second step is gonna be using your imagination, and you're gonna imagine that your eyes get so relaxed that they can't open. This is the whole key. This is how it works. Everyone open your eyes again. Make sure your eyes are open, all right? Here's the thing. When you stop thinking critically and you go into representational systems like imagination, you bridge to hypnosis very, very easily. So the whole idea we're doing here is you're closing your eyes and then you're focusing on the idea of imagining that they get so relaxed that they can't open. You and I both know you can open your eyes anytime you want to, but the minute that you do, you're not following the protocol. If you follow the protocol and you imagine it well, you will get the genuine feeling that your eyes are so relaxed that they can't open. That's the goal, and so it's sensible to do it. You can change your mind about that at any time, but then you're just not getting the benefit of hypnosis. You follow? All right. So, we do eye closure, we imagine the eyes are so relaxed they can't open, and then we test to show ourselves we've created the state. I'm gonna tell you to try just one time to open them and show yourself that they won't open. If when I say that, you open your eyes, it's because some part of you is resisting the entire process. You're clinging to your logic, you're clinging to your need to feel like you're in control. So I'm gonna say it one more time. I'm not making you get your eyes stuck. You are making you get your eyes stuck so that you can show yourself how to do hypnosis. If that freaks you out, and for some reason it's not gonna work. But the key I really want you to understand, you're in control the whole time. Okay? All right. Take a nice big deep breath in. Breathe out and relax. We'll do it 2 more times. Take a nice big deep breath in, way down in your belly. Breathe out and relax. Take a third really nice big deep breath in. Breathe out and close your eyes. Now when your eyes close, some people are more kinesthetic. They like to feel their way through this experience. So draw your attention to your eyes and the way your eyes feel. Some people are more visual processors, and so it might be better to just imagine you see the little muscles that control your eyes getting loose and relaxed and like rubbery, and you know, whichever one works for you is great. Go with your strength. Imagine that your eyes are getting so relaxed that all of the tension is leaving your eyes. We have times in our daily life where we feel like we're really, really relaxed, but we might only be 85% relaxed, or 90% relaxed, or 96% relaxed. Just for those little muscles that control your eyes, think about what it would feel like to let them relax 100%. Total, complete relaxation. You might have points where your mind wants to wander a little bit. It's okay, just come back to the idea. What if my eyes relaxed so much there was no muscular tension at all in those tiny little muscles that control my eyes and my eyelids? And when you've thought about it well, you're gonna notice there's a shift, sort of like Marissa talked about earlier. You just feel something is different from before. And then once you get that feeling or that awareness, you show yourself you've done it by trying just one time to open your eyes and confirming for yourself that they won't open because you made them relax so much. You might feel your eyeballs roll back a little bit, but the eyelids stay right where they are, resting peacefully. And then once you've shown yourself that, you know you've created hypnosis. And then the sensible thing to do is let that beautiful relaxation move beyond your eyes to the rest of your body. You'll still be aware of yourself and in control of your body. You'll stay in your seat, but let it spread. Let the forehead muscles get that kind of relaxation. Let the facial muscles get that kind of relaxation. Let it spread right down through your body, down through your arms, down through your chest. It can have a color like we talked about earlier. It could just be a feeling, whatever's good for you. Let it go down through your whole torso. Let it go down into your legs, down the quad muscles in the front of your legs, the hamstrings in the back of your legs. Let it go down through your knees, all the way down to your ankles. Let it go right down to your feet. So your whole body's more relaxed now. And yet you're still aware of yourself, you're in control of yourself, but why not enjoy feeling relaxed? It's a good thing to do for yourself. And now what we're doing is we're deepening the hypnosis by giving you a task. You spread the relaxation. And then if you want, you can move beyond the body relaxation and you can go to relaxing your mind. Let your mind become more clear, more calm, more peaceful. And really easy way to do this is to count from 10 down to 1. If you're a visual person, picture the numbers in your mind. So you go 10, and you make it disappear, and you double your mental relaxation. And you go put a 9. Maybe you just say 9 in your mind if you're more of a auditory processor. And then you make it disappear and go away, and you double your relaxation again. 8. It just keeps going. We call this a step down deepener. Some people like to actually imagine that they're walking down steps. 7. And every step they go down, they go deeper into relaxation and peacefulness. 6. I like to, in my mind, say deeper relax, like I'm telling myself what to do. 5. Deeper relax. 4. Clearing, relaxing, more and more peaceful. 3. Deeper, relax. 2. And then you get to the last number, the final number, which is, of course, 1. Now you've taken yourself, if you choose to see it this way, 10 levels deeper into relaxation than you were before. That's a pretty nice thing to do. Now you're at what we would refer to as the working state of hypnosis, what we call utilization. How would you like to utilize this state that you've created? You might want to release your stress. You might want to clear your mind. You might want to let go of a fear. As I said earlier, there's an endless amount of possibilities for how you could do something nice for yourself. What I want you to do is remember, every time you practice, you only do one thing per session. We want to keep it really simple so the brain can process easily and help you get a result. So let's practice what I did with Marissa earlier, okay? Think about the idea of your color. It's such a good, simple thing to do. What's the beautiful positive color that's going to make you feel safe and secure and peaceful. Let that color come into your mind. And then let that color get bigger and better and more vibrant. Let it go up to the top of your head and down through your body like we did the relaxation wave earlier. Let it go through every cell of your body. Upward, downward, outward. Imagine it actually going down to the cellular level. Resetting your energetic disposition throughout your body. Releasing all negative thoughts, ideas, and beliefs that you've been carrying for however long you've been carrying them. Now let's turn that color up and let it get more bright, more beautiful, more vibrant, bigger, better, stronger. Make it beautiful. It's your gift you give yourself. You might even just feel yourself starting to smile a little bit at how good it feels to give yourself this gift. It's okay to smile. It's good for us. And now let's turn that color up yet again and get to that top level. Brighten up that color again so that now it starts to come out of you like you're a living, breathing light bulb. It starts to come out and fill this room. It goes to your neighbor, this beautiful energy, and it touches your neighbor. It goes down to the people in front of you, up to the people behind you. We all help each other out today. We all give a gift of compassionate kindness. We share that energy freely, because how can we want good things for ourselves without being willing to wish good things for others? We're all connected. Let that energy flow. In your mind, say, thank you. You might even say, I love you. I love you. Thank you. You might be saying it to yourself. You might be saying it to a higher power. That's for you to decide. Do what honestly feels congruent and right for you. Don't do anything that feels wrong. This is about you doing something good for yourself. Always work with what feels congruent and authentic for you. Think about that spot in your body where the stress likes to live. Make sure you go there now with that color and really get it in there. Make sure it pushes every last remnant of stress, tension, and irritation out of that part of your body. The more we practice, the better we get. Beautiful, vibrant, healing, kind, compassionate energy. You're worthy of it. You deserve it. It is at your disposal. You don't have to find it. It's naturally within you. You create it. Thank you. And then when you're done with your self-hypnosis session, you're just going to count from 1 up to 3. I'll do it out loud for you today, but in the future, again, you can tell yourself you're all done and open your eyes. You can count from 1 up to 3. When you get to number 3, you'll open your eyes. You'll be alert, refreshed, you feel great. Starting with a number 1, all this beautiful energy, it can stay with you. When you're done with the hypnosis, it doesn't have to go. It can stay right with you. You've cultivated that energy within the physical body. Why not keep it? 2, allowing it to settle in and feel positively wonderful so it goes with you for the rest of the day. You find it's easier to enjoy yourself, be optimistic about what's going on in your world, and do good things for yourself and others. Now releasing yourself from hypnosis at the number 3. Sit up nice, straight, and tall. You might even stretch a little bit, whatever's good for you. You feel good? All right. Questions about that? No? All right. Yeah, sorry.
I just had a question.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of setting yourself kind of in like a relaxed state.
Yep.
Is it like very similar to like kind of sleep? Or like what's the
That's a great question. So the person asks, if you're putting yourself in such a relaxed state, is it kind of like sleep? It's really not, because again, you're staying totally conscious the whole time. Your brain waves are still using betas, alphas, thetas. When we go to sleep, right, the deltas crank right up. And we have a little bit of delta activity throughout the day, but when we're sleeping, that's really cranking up and becoming more dominant. And we're not going there. We're staying completely conscious. We're aware of ourselves. We're still processing. So again, if you practice this back in your room, phone rings, you're gonna hear it. Fire alarm, smoke alarm goes off, you're gonna hear it. You got a lot of water in your eyes. If you get really watery eyes, that's another one of the really common signs that you went pretty deeply into hypnosis. Increased lacrimation. So if when you're doing it, usually you don't notice it when you're doing it. It's as soon as you open your eyes, you feel like wiping the water out of your eyes. That's a good sign. That's really, really good. All right? Some of you won't notice anything at first because you're a low hypnotizable. You have less of the dopamine receptors or attentional network setup that you need. But again, with practice, you can make more myelination around the nerve pathways for hypnosis, and you can get better at it. So it's just, are you willing to put in the time and the work? It's up to you. Some of you, again, you know, everything's kind of on a bell curve. Top 10%, top 5% of people, those outliers at the top end, those are our somnambulists. Those are the people that I can meet them. I don't even have to do a 45-minute talk. I can meet them on the street. I can do a really fast routine with them, and they just go. Somebody here, anytime we have this many people in the room, somebody's one of those people. It's just interesting. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you know either way. If you're smart enough to get into college, you have the cognitive ability to do hypnosis. That's all that matters. And that's just, are you willing to put in the time and do the work? Okay? Anything else? Yeah.
Like in shows, hypnotists, participants, get them to do like fun stuff. How
Yeah.
does that work?
So so the question was, in shows, how's the hypnotist getting people to do all this silly stuff, right? There's a contextual awareness. If you go to the MUB and you go to the hypnosis show, you know what you're doing, right? It's like a social contract. You know you're going to an entertainment event. You have some idea that silly stuff is going to happen. And then once you're there, either you're like, I'm just going to watch, or no, I'm willing to volunteer. Again, we tend to not be so on our choices, but there's choices being made every step of the way, right? And so you're making those choices and you're complying, right? The minute you make that choice, you're giving me more compliance, right? And so again, I get a lot of people that'll come up to me before a show and they'll say, I've never seen one of these before, what are you gonna do? And as soon as they say that, I'm like, all right, on some level, they're nervous. So I always say to them, I go, listen, don't do any hypnosis thing. Just sit, watch the show, enjoy yourself, have a good time. After you've seen it once, then you have a whole new understanding of what you would be getting into if you decided to volunteer. That's a better place to be in, right? So I tell a fair amount of people, don't do it tonight. Just sit and watch, get a better understanding of it. Then I get people who come up to me before show and they're like vibrating. They're like, I'm so excited, I want to get hypnotized. Great, let's go. You know, if they've already made that choice for themselves, my job's really, really easy. Super, it's just like, okay, then just follow directions and we're gonna be great. So, but it really is, there's a unspoken understanding from the moment you come into the room of, broadly speaking, what you're in for. And so then you're like, okay, and then if I volunteer, I'm in, right? And then everything I'm doing, what I stress, my job as the facilitator, is to make sure that I keep making it clearly communicated to my volunteers that we're here to have fun. We're not here to embarrass people, we're not here to humiliate people. I want you to have fun. And I say it at my shows, I say, my ultimate goal is I want you to have so much fun being hypnotized in this show. Thank you, have a great afternoon. That after the show, you decide maybe you'll use it to make your life better, right? I do it to make money and because I think it's incredibly fun, but there's this beautiful secondary thing that I'm always thinking about, which is, could I be the first hypnosis show that someone sees? Can I be that ambassador for hypnotism where I do such a good job that then they go use it to quit smoking, or they go use it to sleep better, or do something that really makes them a healthier, happier person? I take that very, very seriously. Not all my colleagues do. It's like comedy, right? Some people are doing this style and some people are doing it, and that's not for me to judge. I'm just saying, for me, that's the way I look at it. And that's really important to me. That's a great question, thank you. Yeah? All right. I'm on Instagram, Hypnotist Paul Ramsey. I'm on YouTube. I actually have 2 channels. If you want to just see the fun stuff, search for Paul Ramsey Hypnotist. If you want to learn more about hypnotism, Best Hypnosis Training. I have a channel that's all training stuff for hypnosis, and you'll learn more that way. Check them both out. Thanks for having me today. You were great. You were really sweet.